Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Headlines. We have a few fights upcoming in addition to the Jake Paul-Tommy Fury clash, which we'll get to in a second. And before we do, I just wanted to let you know about a few others. Two-time Olympic gold medalist Robeisy El Tren Ramirez is ready to fight his first world title opportunity. The Cuban southpaw will face former world champion Isaac Dugba for the vacant WBO featherweight world title on Saturday, April 1st, and that's going to take place at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It stacks a card and is streaming live and exclusively in the U.S. on ESPN+. Elsewhere, we've just been informed that Boxer confirmed its final bonus fight on the televised card, which will air live on Sky Sports from Paris next month as part of its blockbuster co-promotion with French promotion All Stars Promotions. Joining previously announced bouts, which include Dan Aziz battling Thomas Four for the vacant European Light Heavyweight Championship and the eagerly anticipated ring return of Lauren Price, Joe Gallagher, protege Macaulay McCowan, will face the undefeated Farhad the Professor Saad. McGowan, who counts Natasha Jonas among his stablemates, training under decorated Gallagher at his training center in Manchester, rides a 3-fight win streak into what will be his second bout on European soil. And over to Granite Chin for some information. Over in the east coast of the U.S., Massachusetts State welterweight champion Denzel Double Impact Whitley once again is entering the ring with his 10-0 record and make his first title defense on the March 11th Springfield Championship Boxing 2 card against undefeated challenger Kenny Larson, who's also sporting 6-0 record with 5 knockouts of his own, fighting out of Salem, Massachusetts in their 8-round main event to take place at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. And now, having gone through a variety of cards that are going to take place in the upcoming future, let's go down to the news at hand, the ongoing trash talking, quite frankly, and regarding the upcoming fight between Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. So, as we all know, the fight will take place in Saudi Arabia. It's a middle ground for American Paul and Britt Fury, airing on ESPN pay-per-view, with the exception of Brazil and Canada, where it will be shown on DAZN. This is the second platform attempting to book the bout. The rivalry between the two has caught the eye of those in and out of boxing, making it a true pop culture phenomena. Now that their influences have grown, Top Rank, home to both Tyson and Tommy Fury, will be ready to take advantage of the popularity of the two. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury have fan bases that extend far beyond the world of boxing, said Top Rank President Todd DeBoeuf in a release. We are thrilled to partner with MVP and distribute this event on pay-per-view in the U.S., including ESPN Plus pay-per-view as the exclusive digital platform. Elsewhere, as we look around the world, as the headlines are screaming that this will be the fight of the century, as noted on the BBC, this is the third time the fight. This is the third time the pair have been due to fight. Wow, that's a complicated sentence for the BBC. Anyway, Tommy was injured the first time and had visa issues for the second date. To announce the fight, Jake Paul tweeted that there was no excuses. The baby has been born. Posting the news before Tommy and his partner Molly May had announced it themselves. I wasn't even aware that he was about to become a father. Anyway, apparently he did about a month ago. We weren't that bothered when we saw it, said Tommy Fury. There was like 20 million people speculating about it. Paul didn't know anything. He was all the way in the U.S. Me and Molly were like, oh, smart move. Anyway, it was interesting to notice on the posting on the BBC website that their Instagram announcement of Tommy Fury holding his little baby with Molly May in the background in their hospital got a 3.5 million likes, a far cry from the 20 million he was boasting. But let's move along to DAZN. because DAZN has an interesting story regarding what Tommy Fury has just recently named as his Mount Rushmore of boxing. And his older brother, Tyson, is included on the list. For those of you who may not be aware, Rushmore was carved into the side of a mountain, the faces of 4 presidents of the United States. The South Dakota landmark that contains 4 American presidents is frequently used when discussing significant figures from a variety of genres. And Fury has revealed that 4 fighters make his list. He who faces Jake Paul this weekend in an eagerly anticipated grudge match that's 2 years in the making said that victory for him would see him close the door on what has been a vicious and personal rivalry. But ahead of the bout, the former reality TV star found the time to identify the 4 fighters who make up his Mount Rushmore. First thing he said, I would say, is obviously Muhammad Ali, then Mike Tyson. I would have to include Tyson on there, like our Tyson, because I believe he's the best to ever do it, said Tommy Fury. I'd also have Floyd Mayweather up there because they're the people I love to watch. I try and take a little bit out from each of them and make it into one big portion. Sorry, potion. I guess that makes a difference to the meaning. Outside of Tommy Fury's family members, screams Talksport.com, it seems the majority of the boxing world are behind Jake Paul ahead of their clash. After being rescheduled for a third time, Paul and Fury will finally be able to settle their beef on Sunday night in Saudi Arabia. Fury comes from a fighting family, and he's been boxing since he was a child and is unbeaten as a professional with 8 wins in his 8 fights so far, which includes 4 knockouts. Meanwhile, Paul's gained fame as a Disney star and social media influencer before turning his attention to boxing back in 2018. Since then, however, he's put together a record of 6-0 with 4 knockouts against arguably more impressive opposition than Fury, including former UFC champions Tyron Woodley and Anderson Silva. Fury's older brother, Tyson, piled the pressure on with his prediction, telling TalkSport they are finally getting on and are going to throw down. The 2 YouTube people get to battle it out for the king of the YouTubers. It's going to be fun, and I expect Tommy to chin him. If he doesn't, he can stay in Saudi Arabia. All right, let's move along to something that Jake Paul had to say in response. The personal nature of their feud between Jake Paul and Tommy Fury seems to be reaching its peak just days before their pay-per-view fight. Fury, who's actually the half-brother of heavyweight champ Tyson Fury, fired the first salvo of Fight Week when he boldly declared that Paul will never box ever again after he's finished with him Sunday night in Diriyah, Saudi Arabia. On Wednesday, Paul issued a scathing personal response in which he invoked Fury's family, including girlfriend Molly May, who I just discussed, and their daughter Bambi, in a video captioned "Dear Tommy" on Instagram, where he said, Tommy, I hope you've enjoyed these last few moments of your career. This is it. You're going to be retired from boxing after this. You're going to be disowned by your family. You're going to go back to your mother's maiden name. There's nothing else that can save you. It's just you and me, mano a mano. Your brother's not in the ring anymore with you. Your dad's not in the ring with you anymore. Molly's not in the ring with you anymore. Bambi isn't in the ring with you anymore. So all that little cute motivation about having a child and fighting for her, all that shit goes out the window when I'm coming to take your fucking head off, decapitate you. I mean, angry person deep down, I'm going to take all of it on your fucking face. There's nothing you can do to fucking beat me. This is Jake Paul at his usual best. And that Instagram post got himself over 200,000 likes. Paul went on to say that beating Fury would be the highest benevolent good of the universe. In closing, he said, you have 4 rounds and then you're fucked. Tommy Fury, this is for you. Man, could it get any better? Yes, it could. Boxing expert Peter Kahn just locked on Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul picks and best bets for the Sunday night fight. Perhaps the most anticipated fight to reach the celebrity crossover boxing craze. This is on CBS Boxing, by the way. Takes place Sunday when Jake Paul and Tommy Fury square off in an 8-round boxing main event Their battle anchors the main Paul versus Fury fight card from Diriyah Arena in Diriyah, Saudi Arabia. Paul and Fury, who will meet at catchweight of 185 pounds, both found fame and the spotlight before they ever laced up the gloves. But both have stated a strong desire to be taken seriously as professional boxers. Many boxing observers have long believed the best path to a modicum of respect in the boxing world was for Paul and Fury to face each other. The fight has been scheduled and canceled numerous times over the past couple of years, but will finally take place on Sunday. Paul is a favorite. Right, you want to risk $195, you're going to win 100. While Fury comes back at 165, underdog in the latest odds from Caesars Sportsbooks. By the way, the over/under for total rounds completed is 6.5, with the over fetching a price of 160 and the underpriced at 135. Before making any Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul picks, make sure you see the boxing predictions and betting advice from Sportsline analyst Peter Kahn. So let's have a look at Peter Kahn, what he has to say. Kahn is a true boxing insider who has his finger on the pulse of what's going on inside and outside of the ring. He has managed numerous world champions and currently manages 20 fighters through his company, Fight Game Advisors. Kahn recently won the 2022 Boxing Writers Association of America Custom Auto Manager of the Year Award and was also named the 2023 Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. Kahn is uncanny when it comes to picking fights. He's an astounding 37-9 on his last 46 Sportsline boxing picks, returning more than $4,000 to $100 bettors. Anyone who's followed him has seen massive returns. Now, with Sunday night's match approaching, Kahn has studied Paul versus Fury from every angle and identified the best values in the boxing odds. His preview, the main event will at the very least determine which social media maven should be taken more seriously as a professional boxer, that is. Paul is a former Disney child actor who later gained massive YouTube following. His first boxing match came against his arch rival Anisan Geb in 2020. Paul won that first round, yada yada, knockout. Paul, now 6-0, has developed a passion for the sport, insisted he is serious about competing as a professional boxer, and gradually increased his level of competition. Fury's previous opponents have a combined record, by the way, of 24, 176, and 5, providing plenty of fuel for skeptics who contend he's intent on taking an easy path to boxing stardom. But his last opponent, Daniel Bokianski, had a record of 10-1 before Fury won a 6-round decision in their bout last April. So Kahn likes the under 6 rounds at a price of 135 in the latest Caesars odds. He also made the call on the method of victory prop that pays more than 200 and a confident money line pick. Just go to Sportsline if you want all those details. But just so you know, per Sports Interaction here in Canada, Paul is the favorite, Fury's the underdog, and the draw is, wow, a whopping 2,000. Jake Paul on FanDuel is also a favorite, with Tommy Fury sitting as a 130 underdog. In Australia, Paul is listed as a $1.80 favorite with Palmer Bet, while Fury is $2.30 underdog. Wow. And as I pointed out yesterday, there's lots to bet on via the various odds makers, depending on who you're looking at. But let's go back to a bit of a serious comment here. And going back to what the Mauricio Suleiman had to say about putting Jake Paul into the rankings, granting the Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury winner a world ranking would be a debacle, says former fighter boxing trainer and pundit Gary Logan. The WBC announced that they would give Jake Paul a place in their world rankings at cruiserweight if he beat Tommy Fury, and I explained yesterday that would be within perhaps their top 40, knocking off the 40-placed fighter. It's a surprising move, as Paul, a YouTuber turned prize fighter, has so far only beaten another influencer, a basketball player, and MMA fighters in his boxing bouts. But we explained the rationale of Mauricio Suleiman the other day. He's also been boxing at catchweights between light, heavy, and cruiserweight. Said Logan, it's not even a cruiserweight against a decidedly smaller man, and he gets a world ranking. It's just a debacle. Nothing about it makes any sense to me. How does he get a world ranking when he's not boxed anyone near a world ranking at cruiserweight? Tommy Fury is not a cruiserweight. Fury, like Paul, is an unbeaten prospect, so this is a well-matched bout in itself. But Logan considers it far too soon to be putting the winner in at world level. What does that say to other fighters? Logan questioned. It doesn't matter who you fight. If we choose to, we will rank you. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to fight anybody decent as long as you can carry enough YouTube clout, which is what they're saying. It's just a joke. It shows you the power of YouTube, which is a very, very scary thing because people are just not being realistic about these fighters. I've got no doubt that Jake Paul prepares well for his contests and trains hard, but he's not been in there against anybody who we can say is a modicum of a true professional boxer. He literally hasn't boxed a professional boxer, and he has no amateur background. The writing's on the wall at some point as to how much he's going to get embarrassed when he does fight someone that's half decent or not even half decent. A shambles. I'm so disheartened by it, Logan concluded. I think it just flies in the face of what goes on in the past. I know times change, but the level of your ability should always be judged. I've heard about being maneuvered into a world ranking, but this takes the biscuit. And finally, I want to relate a quick little story that says Jake Paul says Nate Diaz is ready and will get booked ASAP after the Tommy Fury fight. So he's looking a little down the road here. Jake Paul still has to fight Tommy Fury this weekend, but he's already named his next opponent. According to the YouTuber turned boxer, the next fight will likely be a big one against UFC superstar and now free agent Nate Diaz. I think Nate Diaz's team is ready. I'm getting through Sunday against Tommy Fury, and we're going to line up that one ASAP. I think that's next, Paul said. Probably mid-year, maybe sometime this summer. I think that's what the fans want, and that's who I want. There's been a lot of back and forth. We've said our stuff, but it's time to get down to business. Paul, by the way, who's previously said he'd fight Diaz in both boxing and MMA, claims he's actually serious about the idea. I want to do one fight boxing, one fight MMA, but I'm not sure if Nate's team is fully aligned on that yet, or I don't know if they realize how serious I am about that. I think they thought I was just doing it for hype, but I'm dead ass serious. Paul, as we all know, and just talked about, is 6-0 boxing and will be a lot younger at 26 years of old, while the 37-year-old Diaz is 21 and 13 in MMA. Before any of that can happen, though, Paul still has to handle business this Sunday when he finally faces the 8-0 Fury in Saudi Arabia. And there you go, fight fans. Thanks for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. Appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later on at 4 p.m. Eastern Time when I join Mike Gore and Cedric Ben for their show, Knuckle Up. Thank you.